Hello, welcome into the light. I'm your host, Marissa, and today we're going to be shedding light on Jaqueline and Mimi Torres-Garcia, the 11-year-old pictured right here. An article was published by the Connecticut Insider, and it's about the timeline of what led to the death of 11-year-old Mimi, which I will refer to Jaqueline Mimi Garcia as Mimi for the rest of this video. It's a very well-detailed timeline, so make sure you're following me because this is going to be a multi-part series. Mimi suffered from abuse and malnourishment that led to her death last fall, except it wasn't until this past October 8th that Mimi's remains were found. Now let me introduce you to the clowns up above because these are the main players in this story. To the far left, we have Carla Garcia, age 29, and this is Mimi's mother. In the middle, we have Carla Garcia's sister, Jaqueline Garcia. She's age 28. And on the very far right, we have Jonathan Nanita, age 30, and he is Carla's boyfriend. Now, Carla and Nanita, they were both charged with murder with special circumstances and other offenses related to Mimi's death. Whereas the sister, Jaqueline Garcia, she's been charged with unlawful restraint, intentional cruelty to a child, and risk of injury in this case. Carla Garcia is the mother of 5 children. 2 of them are with her former relationship, Victor Torres, while her other 3 children are with the boyfriend, Nanita. Now, there's a lot of documentation and records of family instability with Carla Garcia, with Mimi and the younger sibling, and this was until she was granted full custody in June 2024. Within months of that date is when Mimi was deceased, with her mother, the aunt, and the mother's boyfriend trying to hide the death for nearly a year. And while Mimi was passing away under the care of her very own mother, Carla happened to be pregnant with her 5th child at the same time. Now we're going to dive right into the timeline of January to August 2013. At this time, this is when Mimi was born to her mother, Carla Garcia, while Carla was spending time in a state detention facility. Now, DCF placed Mimi in the care of a paternal relative, and shortly later, DCF closed out the case in August of 2013 with this paternal family member, and Mimi remained under legal guardianship of this relative until May 2022. From April 2014 to June 2016, the state remained in Mimi's life as she's placed with relatives. DCF provided services to the family, including the younger siblings. In February 2016, Mimi's younger sibling was placed in the care of the same legal guardian. 2017 to 2021. DCF was briefly involved with the family based on reports involving Mimi's younger sibling. The guardian allowed Mimi's parents, Carla Garcia and Victor Torres, regular access to the children during this time, even though they did not have custody. August 2018. Mimi starts kindergarten in the New Britain schools of Connecticut, and she's going to attend there until June 2024. 2019 to 2020. Carla Garcia gets convicted of third-degree assault after she flew into a jealous rage and repeatedly punched a woman, according to her record of a 2019 conviction. Carla's boyfriend, Nanita, he nearly dragged a New Britain police officer when he fled a traffic stop in 2020. Carla Garcia received a suspended sentence and 2 years of probation on April 9th, 2019 for third-degree assault, according to the judicial branch records. Nanita's traffic stop, that ended with a misdemeanor conviction, and he was sentenced to a year in jail. In 2022, Carla Garcia and Victor Torres sought their parental rights back. They wanted reinstatement of guardianship of both Mimi and her younger sibling. In February of 2022, the aunt, Jaqueline, she is under investigation for toddler assault. The New Britain police began this investigation based on injuries that a toddler in her care sustained. The child had a broken femur, several other injuries that were in varying states of healing, and these were indications of child abuse. Jaqueline's relationship to the child was initially unclear because the warrant was redacted. However, in the active warrant for this case and Mimi's death, Farmington police stated that the injured child did belong to Jaqueline and was removed from her custody and adopted by somebody else. May 2022, the court reinstated guardianship of Mimi and her younger sibling to their parents, Torres-Garcia and Victor Torres, with support from DCF, the prior relative guardian, and an attorney that represented Mimi. Quote, the department's recommendation was made after conducting a review of the family's history and current circumstances, an interview with Mimi and her sibling, and an assessment of the parents' current ability to care for them at that time, the agency said in a statement issued October 17th. September 2022. A DCF investigation concerning Mimi's younger siblings determined that Mimi and the other children were safe and visible to the community, DCF said. They were enrolled in school. Their medical provider didn't have any concerns. Quote, the department provided in-home supports and the family was involved with supportive housing, DCF said in the statement. There was insufficient evidence to substantiate child abuse and neglect or seek removal of the children from the home in accordance with state law. Accordingly, the case was closed in November 2022. From November 2022 to May 2024, there is a lull in this case. There was no apparent problems for Mimi, her siblings. DCF was not involved with the family of Torres-Garcia and Victor Torres during this period. They didn't receive any reports of child abuse or neglect. And the children were enrolled in school, and Mimi attended medical appointments in November 2022, November 2023, and May 2024. On June 27, 2003, Jaqueline Garcia is charged with risk of injury to a child in connection with a suspected case of child abuse that New Britain police believe occurred in February 2022, possibly dating back to 2021. June 24, 2024. Torres-Garcia filed for and was granted sole custody of Mimi and her sister by the family court in June 2024, saying it was in the best interests of the children. DCF was not involved in that proceeding, the agency said. The family court was not the same court that had given Torres-Garcia and Victor Torres their parental rights back, DCF noted. June through August 2024. Jaqueline Garcia moves back in with the sister's family on and off for a few months, the search warrant confirmed. During that time, she notices that her sister and the boyfriend, Anita, they're withholding food for Mimi and using zip ties to restrain her. Jaqueline told the police in an interview after October 8th of this year that in summer 2024, she knew the 11-year-old girl was, quote, was going to die, end quote, and she had witnessed, quote, patterns of abuse, end quote, in the weeks before the child is believed to have died, the warrant said. This is the end of part 1. Please make sure you're following for part 2.